Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope the videos we keep uploading are very productive and helping you. We are about to start answering the paper one from the 2024 KZN June Common Test, which was written by the grade 12 learners. Okay, question one is all about algebra. Basically solving x, simplifying, nature of roots. Yeah. Okay, so question 1.1, we are given 3 times which are multiplied and the answer is 0. When you have 3 things multiplied and the answer is 0, it simply means one of them can be 0 or all of them might be 0. Two x plus 7 is 0 or 8 minus x is 0. For the first one, x is 0, and then the second one, x is minus 7 over 2. Third one, x is equal to 8. So these are the solutions. X is 0, x is negative 7 over 2, x is 8. And then for the second one, we are given x squared plus 13x plus 12. So we want to find the factors of 12 that when we add will give us 13. Whenever I factorize this thing, okay, let's just factorize. We want to have factors of 12 that when we add according to the sign next to 12 will give us the middle term altogether. So it will be x plus 12 and x plus 1. 1 and 12 are the factors of 12, and when you add them you can get the 13. So here the answer will be negative 12 or x is negative 1. Okay. Now 1.3. 1.3 we are given 5x squared minus 7x plus 8. There are no factors that's when you add will give us 8, right? So in this situation we must resort to the quadratic formula, whereby we know that for us to use the quadratic formula, firstly we must know the value of a, b and c right together, whereby a is anything in front of x squared, b is everything in front of x, and then c is the constant term. And then therefore we know that x is equal to minus b plus minus the square root of b, the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, right? Minus b minus 4ac over 2a. Okay, b is equal to negative 7, a is 5, and then a is 5, and then c is 8. We have 5 here. Then x is equal to 7 plus or minus 49 minus 5 times 8 is 40, multiplied by 4 is 80. So here you have 7 plus or minus negative 31 all over 10. Why did I keep on writing 2a there? All over 10. Okay guys, since what you have here is a negative term, we wouldn't get real solutions right together. So here you can simply say there's no solution right together, because when delta when delta is less than 0, simply means you have no real roots. So there's no solution here in this equation. There's no solution. And then now we want to solve whenever we have sets. And guys, the steps are the same, guys. Please go and check lesson 1 and 2 if you're struggling with solving x. I have created a playlist there for algebra. Okay, whenever I want to solve x and I have sets, I must remove sets, né? But before I do that, I must isolate the set and then put everything to be on the other side. Simply means that I'll have x minus 2 is equal to x minus 2. I must always have a restriction whenever I deal with sets, right? Whatever x value that I get together, on the right hand side I must have a positive number together. So my restriction, every answer I get should be greater or equal to a negative 2. If I get an answer which is not greater or equal to negative 2, then that answer is not applicable. Okay, let's work. The first thing we must do whenever we deal with sets is to square both sides, right? If I do that, I'll be left with x minus 2 is equal to x squared minus 4x plus 4. Right together. Then when I bring everything to the right hand side, I'll have x squared minus 4x plus 4 excuse me, is equal to 0. When I take the x to the other side, it will change the sign. The 2 to the other side, it will also change the sign. All together. And then excuse me, now we'll have x squared minus 5x plus 6 is equal to 0. I want the factors of 6, that's when I will add will give me 5, and those factors are 3 and 2. The sign here is saying plus, that means my bracket will have the same sign, but not just any sign, the sign of the middle term. Minus and minus, x is equal to minus 3, or x is equal to a positive 2, right? Both of my answers are included in that restriction. So I'll simply say x is equal to 3 or x is equal to 2. If you are not sure about your answer, guys, just take one of them, substitute them on your original equation. If the left hand side is equal to the right hand side, therefore that answer is accepted together. If we found out the left hand side is less than the right hand side, or vice versa, that answer is not applicable, because the left hand side should be equal to the right hand side together. Okay, now we must solve the inequality. The steps of solving x and the inequality are the same, guys. The only difference is that here you are not looking for an absolute value of x, or a specific value of x rather. Okay, here I'll just say x multiplied by x minus 1 it's less than 20, I will have x squared minus x. When I bring the 20 to the other side, it will be negative. I want the factors of 20, that's when I subtract will give me 1. I have x, that will be 5 and 4, minus and plus. The bigger factor will always take the sign of the middle term. And then I must write down my critical values. Critical values are x values. That's whenever I substitute on my on this case, on this step rather, I will get a 0. All right, together. So my critical value, x is equal to 5 or x is equal to negative 4. Then I must place them on the number line. I have negative 4 and 5. Are they included or not? They are not included because the less than sign does not have an equal sign. Are you together? Okay, so the numbers in front of x inside my brackets are both positive. So I'll start with the positive there, negative and positive. So I'm looking for anything that will give me an answer which is less than 0. Less than 0 means negative. Where do I see a negative sign on my number line? I see it when x is between -4 and 5. So the solution there, x is between -4 and 5. Okay. Now we have an exponential equation, right? Whenever, guys, you have a plus or minus separating your terms, the first thing we need to do before we start to solve, we must make sure that we also separate the exponents. All right, together. So in this case, I will have 2 to the 1 all over 2 to the power 2x plus 7 all over 2 to the x minus 4 is equal to 0. My exponents are separated now. I applied the rule that says if ever I want to take a from the numerator to the denominator, I must just change the sign of its exponent. I applied that rule there. All right, together. Then when we are here, we need to say let, to make things simpler, let 2 to the x equal to k. All right, together. Then we'll have 2. This will be k squared because we have 2 to the power 2x plus 7 over k minus 4 is equal to 0. All right, together. Our LCD is k squared. If you multiply everything by the LCD, which is k squared, I will be left with 2 plus 7k minus 4k squared is 0. All right, together. If I divide everything by a negative, and I will do so because I want to make this one to be positive. Why must I make it positive? Because it has the highest power or the highest exponent. Okay, whenever I do that, I'll have a positive 4k squared minus 7k minus 2 is equal to 0. Now I'm looking for the factors of both 4 and 2, that when I subtract will give me 7. I'll have 4k, k, 2 and 1, and then I'll have minus and plus here. So therefore k is equal to negative 1 over 4, or k is 2. But remember that, guys, we were not solving for k. K was just a tool to help us to get to the solution quicker. Whenever we see k, we're going to place our 2 to the x there. There's no solution here, guys. there's no value of x that when I substitute there will give me a negative number, so there's no solution. But here I'll have 2 to the x is equal to 2, which means 2 to the x is 2 to the 1. Therefore x is equal to 1. So I'll simply say x is equal to 1. Okay. Simply say x is equal to 1, right? And then now there is 1.2. 1.2 the roots of a quadratic equation are, okay, we are given the roots. If m is an integer, determine the largest value of m for which these roots will be rational. Okay, for the roots to be rational, it simply means that delta should be equal to a perfect square, right? And our delta is everything which is inside the square root. So in this case, our delta is equal to 22 minus 3m. Which value of m will make this guy to be a perfect square? Okay, if we substitute 1 there in space of delta, whenever I substitute 1 here, let me do this. Whenever I substitute 1, I'll get 18. Not even 18, I'll get 19. Because 22 minus 1 is 19, right? 19 is not a perfect square. So I need to try and substitute 2. Whenever I substitute 2, I'll get 22 minus 6, which will give me 16. 16 is a perfect square. Okay, so m can be 2. We just want to find the largest value of m, right? Okay, and then we must keep on doing the trial and error. If m is 3, what do we get? 22 minus 9. 22 minus 9, I will get 13. 13 is not a perfect square, so we move. 22 minus 9. If you say, if you take a 4, we'll have 22 minus 12, it will give us 10. 10 is not a perfect square, so 4 does not work. If we have 5, we'll have 22 minus 15, which will give us 7. 7 won't work as well. 6. Why did I skip 6? Okay. 6 is 22 minus 18 will give us 4, and 4 is a perfect square. This simply means that m can also be 6. And then when we try 7, 22 minus 21 will get 1. 1 is a perfect square, so m can be 7 as well. Let's see whether 8 will give us a perfect square or not. Okay, 22 minus 24 will give us a negative 2. Okay, immediately whenever we start getting negative numbers, we stop, because we are told that the roots of the equation are this. And if we have roots, it simply means that delta should not be a negative term. Are you together? So these are the possible values of m that will give us integers. Are you together? 2, 6 and 7. However, here they wanted the largest integer, so 7 will be the largest integer. So we'll simply say m is equal to 7. Okay, and now let's do question 1.3. Must evaluate that. They simply mean simplify, no? Of the square root of, let me do this so that I can write. Nine to the power 2024 minus the square root of 9 power 2025. Okay, I'm supposed to simplify this, ne? The first thing I need to do here, guys, is to check which value has the smallest exponent, right? And then I must try to change each and every term to have the same exponent which is smaller. Are you together? 9 to the power 2003. 2003 is a smaller, 2023 rather, is the smaller exponent among the three. So that means I must change the others to 2023, right? So I'll have the square root of 9 to the power, it's 9 to the power 20, 23 plus 1. This thing is all divided by 9 to the power 20, 23. I don't change it, but I'll manipulate this one. 9 to the power 20, 23 plus 2. Are you together? And then this thing will give me, let me write in blue. I'll have 9 to the power 20, 23 multiplied by 9. 9 to the power 1. I'm using the rule that says if I have a to the m plus n, I can simply write it as a to the n multiplied by a to the m. I'm using that rule now. Here I'll keep things as they are. 9 to the power 20, 23 minus 9 to the power 20, 23 multiplied by 9 to the power 2. Okay, now I'm going to use this rule. If ever I have two things multiplied under the same root, a multiplied by b, I can simply have the square root of a and the square root of b. Are you together? And then simply means that I'll have the square root of 9 and the square root of 9 to the power 20, 23 all over 9 to the power 20, 23 minus minus 9 squared and 9 to the power 20, 23. Okay, the square root of 9 will give me 3. Are you together? Then I still have 9 to the power 20, 23 all over. I can take out the common factor here, which is 9 to the power 20, 23, right? 9 to the power 20, 23 if I do that, I'll be left with 1 minus I'll be left with the square root of 9 squared, and the square root of 9 squared will give me 9. Are we together? And then this guy will cancel this one, then I'll be left with 3 to the power 3 all over 1 minus 9, which is 8. I'll have negative 3 over 8 as my final answer. So when I write here, I'll simply write this thing is equal to negative 3 over 8. Okay, now I have two equations which I must solve simultaneously. Let me do this. Equation 1, I have 3 plus y minus 2x is 0. This is my equation 1. Then equation 2, I have 4 x squared plus y squared minus 2xy ss is equal to 0. That's my equation 2. Okay, I can manipulate equation 1 to have one unknown variable, right? Because whenever I solve simultaneously, I need to solve for one variable at a time. So I can simply say from the first equation, I can say that y is equal to 2x minus 3. This will give me equation 3, right? And then all I have to do is to substitute equation 1 in equation 3 into equation 2. Sub 3 into, in basic terms, whenever I see y, I must just substitute this thing. So I'll have 4x squared plus y squared minus 2x y minus 7 is 0. Please remember that whenever I see y, I must substitute 2x minus 3. 2x minus 3. All together. Let me erase here. Okay. Whenever I solve, the first thing I need to do is to remove the brackets. Yes, I'll still have my 4x squared, right? But inside the brackets, I'll also have 4x squared minus 12x plus 9, and then the other one, the second bracket will give me negative 4x squared plus 6x, and then I still have a minus 7 there, which is less than 0. All right, together. Okay, this will subtract with this, and then I'll be left with 4x squared. This and these will subtract. I'll be left with negative 6x, and then 9 minus 7 will give me 2 is equal to 0. I can divide everything by 2 there. I'll have 2x squared minus 3x plus 1 is equal to 0. I want the factors of both 2 and 1. That's when I add, will give me 0. No, will give me 3 rather. I'll have 2x, x, 1, minus and minus, because this the constant term is positive, right? Simply means my brackets will have the same sign, but not just any sign, the sign of the middle term. Therefore, x is equal to a positive half, or x is equal to 1. Therefore, I'll be like, okay, now I know the value of x. Okay, when x is half, therefore my y value is equal to, I'll just go back and substitute my equation 3, right? Whenever I see x, I'll put a half. Whenever I see x, I'll put a half, and therefore I'll get my y value to be equal to -2 here. And then secondly, when x is equal to 1, therefore my y value is just 2x minus 3 then y will be equal to, I'll just substitute 1 there. 2 minus 3 will give me -1. So I know that my x value is, when my x value is half, my y value will be -2, and when my x value is 1, the corresponding y value will be -1. This is how you should have answered question 1, guys, which is just algebra from the June common test, which was written in the province of KwaZulu. Guys, please make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you learn, guys. If you have questions, please, guys, you can email me at mananampumelelo@gmail.com. Please send me an email there and I'll come back to you. Thank you very much, guys.